This is for to reset the cycles. No, okay. No. Wait a moment. I a little mistake here. Time is gonna start and like between 5 to 6 seconds after I press new games. I'm gonna make the countdown, anyways, so that shouldn't matter by a lot. So I have failed here, so I'm gonna do this setup again. So sorry, guys. So first thing is this. I have my database. I restart this. I quit the game. So now it's gonna be like 5.5 seconds. Okay, so time's gonna start on 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay, as I said before, this is any percent no anim glitch, and the first this thing that you're gonna watching here is that I have turned down the sound effects, and the reason why I have done this is because for some reason when you turn off the sound effects, some cutscenes, the vortex cutscenes that appears, depending on which stage are you entering, or some elements like the crystals, gems, relics, or all that kind of stuff get deactivated, and that saves like 40 seconds. And for the people who is not familiarized with the game, and that cutscenes are that depending on when we enter the stage, for example, I have skipped one cutscene here, and that's a cutscene when Cortex and Uka Uka appears to talk to us, and sometimes in that cutscenes, it can be Cortex, it can be one of the Cortex allies, sometimes can be Aku Aku, and well, I'm gonna talk about a bit of the story of this game. This game was released back in 1998, and this was the third game developed by Naughty Dog, which were the original creators of Crash Bandicoot. And there have been some improvements between this and the other previous Crash Bandicoot games. Now, the plot of the game is that everything starts on the second game finishes at the 100% completion, and this on the story on the Cortex station at space got destroyed. One of the parts of the space station falls into the earth, so it falls and freeze and release. Well, get freeze. Sorry, my mistake. That makes that Yuka Uka, the evil twin from Aku Aku, which is the mask that is following me at this moment. It's free, and now here's gonna work with Cortex again, and also with the help of N Trophy, using a time machine to travel around the time just to collect all crystals and gems and relics to dominate the world, using the energy to dominate the world. And something cool that was added on this game. Okay, unfortunately I wasn't able to do and skip there. That skip was a color skip that takes 5 seconds. That makes that animation get skipped. And how that work? Well, if you jump correctly and you can confuse the game, and it will think that you are walking off the roof. So thanks to it, you can make that Coco jumps more faster at that last part with Pura, because you don't jump because you want. It's something that works automatically on the game. So if I have jumped correctly and I have made that the Coco's jump were more higher, I should have skipped that cutscene and I will have saved like 5 seconds. Okay, I got distracted, sorry. I don't know what happened with my controller, but I have lost one mask. This is gonna be bad because this is gonna be slower, because I needed that mask for the next stage, unless the staff allows me to restore my run. But time is coming, so well, time is we are now out of time in some way, so that unfortunately is gonna happen. The next stage is gonna be a little slower. I'm gonna lose between 5 to 8 seconds. Well, between 4 to 8 seconds. I hope that I don't lose so much time. So, well, the plot of the game is that, and also since Twin Crash and Coco are the good guys now, they work with Aku Aku in order to get everything before Cortex and their allies and get all this stuff to use the energy to dominate the world, and that's simple. We're just gonna save the world again on this game. That's a typical cliche of many video games. So here, and I'm gonna start with the real. I'm gonna start to show you the real movement technique on this game, and it's called neutral slide jump. And the way that you perform it, it's that for some reason, when you perform a slide and you release the directional buttons, even if it's the D-pad or analog stick, and before the slide finishes, you press the jump button, you're gonna keep the slide speed on the air. And this is a technique that you're gonna use to move faster on this game, because sliding is more faster than regular walking, but it's so inconsistent to keep sliding all the time. So with the neutral slide jump, we can keep the speed of the slide on the air, and that's something that you're gonna, as I've said before, you're gonna see in all the run. Because in some way this is based on the movement of Crash Bandicoot 2, which is a neutral slide spin, the same stuff but with spin, and obviously neutral slide spin is more faster than neutral slide jump. But for some reason, it looks like the developers of the game have noticed the neutral slide spin glitch on Crash Bandicoot 2, and then they tried to fix it on Crash Bandicoot Warp. Because if you try to perform a neutral slide spin, Crash is gonna stop when he does a spin. So that's not something you are able to do there. And why I'd say that the previous stage was slower? Well, when you are I forgot what I was to say. Okay, I remember. Because when you catch 3 masks, as you have seen in this case, I have 2 masks, because the color of the mask is different than the first one. Once you get the 3 masks, you can enter into an invincibility mode like this, and that can make that Crash moves faster. And also, if we add the neutral slide jump to it, obviously we're gonna go more faster than developers were expecting on the game. So basically this is the first warp room. After this stage I'm gonna have the first boss battle, and as you have saw, it doesn't matter the order of stages. Every warp room has 5 stages, and it doesn't matter which stage you wanna start, and you can go through any stage you want. But thanks to the masking route, because the masks are different between stages. Some stages has just 1 mask, some of them has 2 masks, and some weird stages has between 3 to 4 masks. And thanks to that, I'm going to into a specific order on the game, talking about stages. And before I have started this run, you have saw that I have executed an dead abuse. And this is because every time you die on the game, the cycles are resetted, because the game is it's cycle based. So in some way to optimize this, before you start every run, it's good to perform the dead abuse, and then you start with Under Pressure, which is the second stage of this first warp room, and it's an underwater stage, and since every stage is cycle based, the best way to start with the reset cycles it's Under Pressure. Now, don't worry, staff, audio it's okay, and because on this stage, even if you have also the sound effects activated, if you press the triangle button, you can skip the cutscenes. So if you skip faster the cutscene of this boss, music's gonna take music is not gonna get triggered. So if we wanna hear the soundtrack of this, we need to Well, we need to what? Oh yes, we need to or lose a life or getting out of the stage and enter to it again. So now it's time to move on the second warp room, and as I've said before, it's supposed that you are traveling in time on this game. So as you can see, we are traveling to different zones, and depending also of the warp rooms, which kind of stages we can found, because some of the stages have some specific themes. For example, the first warp room has the medieval um, topic, and we are gonna see another topics on some next stages like the future topic, the Egyptian topic, and all that stuff. And that's something really cool because it feels like if you were traveling in time to different eras of the humanity, that it's something so cool in the game. Also, talking about my movement, as you can see, sometimes you will see that crash is being like tilting or something like that. That's because I'm performing the zigzagging, which is basically to mash the directional buttons left, right, go up and down depending on the situation as fast as possible, because zigzagging is the most fastest way to move in the game also. And as I said before, with the zigzag, that means that I'm using the D-pad because unfortunately the analog sticks are so slower on this game, so it's better to use the D-pad instead of an analog stick, and that can be weird most for people who is used to play 3D games with an analog stick. But in that era, something cool about the PS1 games is that you can use in most of the games the analog stick or D-pad for the games. There were some few games like Apescape that you weren't able to use the D-pad because that game forces you to use an controller with analog sticks. Because in this case, since I'm using the D-pad, I'm using an original digital PS1 controller, which is that one that doesn't have the analog sticks. And now, for this stage, this is used as a backup strat. The reason of this is because, as you have saw at the start, you have put attention. There were some boxes that were blank. They were white, and if you time correctly on that kind of boxes, you can get some different stuff. Like for example, womb of fruit, lives or on this case on stage number 6, you can get an echo mask. So that's the reason why that stage is used as a backup strat. But fortunately, I haven't needed to use it, and this is the last stage that you're gonna try to keep the masks, because something bad is that there are some stages that unfortunately makes you to lose your Aqua's mask. So thanks to it, I'm gonna be careful about which stages I am playing and I'm doing. So in this case, I'm gonna go a little safely here. And something good about the neutral slide jump is that it also can make that you, at the same time you jump, you can go more higher in some parts. Like for example, as you have saw that I am on the middle of the stage, there was a metal box like this one that you need to activate, and this platform is gonna start to move. But since I can perform a neutral slide jump, that's not fully necessary, and that saves time. Because on this last part, for example, the intended way to cross over that is to activate that box and jump over on the platforms. And now this is my net run, and as you have noticed on the first warp room, in this game, Coco, the Crash's little sister, now turns into a playable character. But unfortunately, you cannot play as her in all stages that you want. It's just just some specific stages. And for example, with Insane Trilogy, which are the remastered versions of the PS1 Crash Bandicoot games, and now you are able to play as Coco. At least on Crash 3, you can play as Hare from the start, but on Crash 1 and 2, you need to defeat the first boss in order to access to her. And the good part of Insane Trilogy is that you can use Coco on most of the stages, but also in some of them you are not able to use her. For example, um, on this stage you can just play as Coco. If you try to play as Crash, the game doesn't let to you. And other stages like Mad Bombers, which is stage 24 that we're gonna see in a while, and also in the boss stages you cannot enter as Coco, unfortunately. But at least that's something cool. And now I'm gonna go for the last stage of this warp room, which is Hog Ride. It's a motorcycle stage. There are three kind of these stages in all the run. There are in total four, but I'm not gonna go for the fourth one because there are some hidden stages, and the way that you need to unlock them or access to them is just to go for the time trial relics, because once you finish a stage and you finish it collecting the crystal, if you access again to the stage you're gonna see a clock. So if you touch the clock you're gonna enter into the time trial mode, and if you finish the stage before the default time you're gonna gain a relic. So having some specific amount of relics can lead you to access to some stages and some extra parts of some stages in order to
I have 2 donations to read. Is now a good time? Wait, hold up. Oh.
Sorry about this, guys. Just having some technical difficulties with.
It isn't gonna know what gives to you instead of its okay. Stop have something to say? Okay, that's okay, that's good. So say whatever you want. I'm gonna wait later to keep explaining this. If you don't mind, I just can finish this to talk this faster, and there will gonna be some dead time to talk. Okay, so I'm gonna keep explaining about the glitch. So it's in that case, the game doesn't know what gives to you. If it should be good to give you lives, wumpa fruit, and all stuff. So instead of that, the game get confused and start to give you the crystals of other stages, also the gems, and okay, that was bad that I have this one mask. Okay, never mind, I'm not going to use the mask on the next stage. I need to finish at least with one. And thanks to it, the game, since doesn't know what gives to you, it starts to give you the crystals of all other stages, and also it starts to give you crystals that are not from all stages, and also that happens with the gems and all that stuff. It gives you stuff that it's supposed that you cannot get on the game. And if I remember correctly, the total amount of crystals are 25, but I think that thanks to that glitch you can gain up to 64 crystals. So the way to perform that's just on some specific stages, jumping over some metal jumping boxes, because that boxes doesn't break and you can keep jumping over it, and with that you can get that item glitch. So this is no item glitch, it's a traditional and intended any person route, which is just going through all 25 stages, gaining all 25 crystals. So that's the only difference with the category. So now this is a kind of auto scroller. I'm just gonna took like another minute or maybe less, so if Tabs has something to say, this is a good moment. Nice.
Okay, sorry. We have 3 donations to read actually. There's $1 from Ghost Senpai who says, "Sorry for the delay, people. Runner put a wrong letter in stream key."
And I'm Ghost Senpai if somebody was stopping about it.
We have $10 from Danklord. Oh, sorry.
Okay, continue.
Okay, we have $10 from Danklord who says Bob Ross, yo. And finally, we have $10 from Imawaka who says Clam Bake! And with those donations, we are officially above $500 raised.
Shout guys, we are now $500, how'd you say?
Yes, 511 total.
Okay, $511. Shout outs to the staff who is doing a good work, and also for all the runners, and obviously to all the people who have done it for this great cause. So, well, now it's time to finish this this motorcycle stage, and something I forgot to say is that you need to finish in first place to gain the crystal. If you finish on second, third place, well, whatever place that it's not first place, and you're gonna get out of the stage and you need to enter again and win the race. That's something that will change on Insane Trilogy, because if you fail and you don't get in the first place, and the game gives you the option to restart the race, so that saves a good amount of time. Now this is the third boss battle and trophy, which is just simple. Again, we have this kind of glitch that we got on versus Tiny Tiger, but now on a while the music is gonna start to play, so that doesn't matter by a lot. So the way that you defeat him is like this. He's gonna throw all that stuff, and once he throws everything, the floor's gonna move, and now we're gonna be able to go to the position that he is, and obviously we're gonna be able to hit him. Second hit, and now it's time to go for the third hit. And also for all the people who is watching this and there's somebody explaining to donate, I need to remember that some games has some bid wars and donation incentives. For example, tomorrow I'm gonna run Pepsi Man, and it has the incentive for a cute sense. So if you're gonna donate, remember to put your money towards the donation, the donation incentive of the weird cute sense of Pepsi Man. Everybody's gonna be glad if we can reach that donation goal. You know, also as you have saw, when every time that I defeat a boss, I gain an power up. On the first boss versus Tiny, I got the. Okay, I forgot the. Okay, the body slam, the powered body slam that it just make that I can do a body slam, but it's more powerful. In second warp room, I got double jump, and here versus End Trophy, I got the tornado spin. So the double jump, you know, press twice, then pressing twice the jumping button, and the tornado spin is that, well, you can perform a spin with the square button. So if you mash a huge amount of times the square button, you can make that tornado spin that maybe I'm gonna use on the next stage. So again, we have this kind of outer-scroller stage that literally you need to press the, well, it's not right, you need to press the cross button and just be moving around the stage. So again, this is 1 minute with anything important to say. And so this is also a good moment, just in case that staff wants to remember something to the people who is planning to donate, and also for the viewers of the marathon, talking about incentives. I will be talking about it, but unfortunately I haven't forgot all the donation incentives right now. But instead of that, I'm just gonna keep pressing the cross button and I'm gonna be moving in all this stage. Well, something. Okay, I have missed the crystal. That's something curious, because when I started to run this game, I used to forget the crystal, and all the time I finished the stage, but I never realized that I have missed the crystal. Once I have beat it, the rest of the stages, and I have got all those crystals. And when I was checking on which stage I have missed crystal, I have noticed that it was on this specific stage.
Coming up here in 2 runs is Rayman Legends, which has the donation bid war for save or kill the team.
Feels bad, man. I don't know, I feel sad hearing that, but remember guys, all the money is stored for a great cause. We're helping some people, so if you're gonna donate, remember to put your money on a donation incentive. It doesn't matter that you don't know what's gonna happen on the game or something like that. So remember, if you're gonna donate, put your money towards a donation incentive. So now again, it's time to show off how you can pause the cycles or freeze the cycles for a moment, because also when you gain the invincibility, you are able to freeze some cycle, like in this case the water cycles that are you gonna see all the time that I'm gonna be with the invincibility. The water's not gonna raise up, and this is something good, because if we go on the 10th way, that we need to wait until the water spawns and then it goes down, it's gonna be so slow and we're gonna lose a huge amount of time. For example, in this part we're gonna see how does this works. And also for the people who's asking for Pepsi Man, the game were changed for small. Okay, that was bad. It's not supposed that I have done that, but it doesn't matter. This next part's gonna be also lower again. I got distracted. But it's fine. But you have saw what happens when the water have rise up. So in this case, now it's time to play a bit safely, thanks to it. But it doesn't matter a lot, since this stage just has 1 Aqueous mask. So here we're not gonna see another of that mask. Okay, that was okay. I'm gonna wait until the normal cycle. Well, my PBs have 53 minutes PB. If I remember correctly, it's 53:18, because Unfortunately, I don't know what happened to my split files, but I wasn't able to open my Crash Bandicoot warp splits, so need to work on them again. Okay, I don't know what's happening with the game, but I'm getting so huge bad luck. Well, and what I was gonna say? Oh yes, something that also is affecting me right now. It's the drop inputs, and well, you know that the drop inputs is when you press button, you order the game to perform a specific input, and the game doesn't recognize it. So this game basically drops a lot your input. So sometimes, like for example in that case, I got something called extended slide. That it's when you are trying to perform a slide jump, and for some reason the game drops your jump input, so you just see the slide, and that's the reason why it's called extended slide. Okay, I need to admit that was a terrible stage, but now it's time to do some blessed RNG in order to make that we can finish this under our estimate. But yes, if I don't lose any lives, and I hope that it happens, I'm gonna finish under my estimate. And yeah, the Pepsi Man run is on Sunday. It has been switched.
Another note about Rayman Legends, there's also a donation bid war for character selection. There's Barbara, Globox, Rayman, and Teensy, and Rayman is currently in the lead with $18. 2 runs from now.
So that means that after the Crash Bandicoot block, we're gonna have the Rayman Legends run. Okay, so you have heard, guys, after this Crash Team run, we're gonna have Crash Team Racing and then Rayman Legends, and there are some donation incentives and bid wars for the game. So if you're gonna donate, remember to put your money toward one of the donation incentives. So again, this is the first kind of future style. So there's not anything interesting to say until just that you need to be careful with some movements and all that stuff, because the game can troll you by a lot. Like in this case, that I got some drop inputs. So again, also a good way to keep moving, just to skip some platforms like the previous ones that in some seconds they're gonna move in order that we cannot go for them. It's better to perform the tornado spin that we have unlocked when we have beat it in trophy. Okay, that was bad. I don't know what's happening to me this today. Okay, that's fine. You know, this is the last part of the stage. Well, now it's time to go for the last stage of Crash on this warp room, because Bye Bye Blimps, which is the stage number 17, is gonna be played as Coco. And also get prepared, because unfortunately, if you are a big fan of Coco as me, and Bye Bye Blimps is gonna be the last stage of the game that we're gonna see Coco in action. Well, part of the run, I need to say. So if you're a big fan of her, now we're gonna stop to play as her. So please okay, I have got it. And again, making use of the slide jump, the neutral slide jump and the tornado spin, I have skipped that platforming part that makes me save like 5 seconds. And also, as I've said before, my PB is 53.18, world record is 44.25, performed by Burgerlands. And also, as I've said yesterday when I have run Donald Duck and Quackers, I'm running this on a PlayStation 2 because the PlayStation 2 has an option for the PS1 games, which is called fast disk speed, and it just makes that the disk spins more faster, because if we remember, loading times with compact disc weren't the best. Okay, that's good, doesn't matter. I'm not gonna use the masks on next stage, because by default if I have some masks I'm gonna lose them, so in some way that's not bad. It would have been more slower if I had waited until the door opened. And I keep continue walking. So now it's time to enter to the last Coco stage, which is Bye Bye Blimps, and you need to shoot to the blimps as the name of the stage refers. I just need to do this. So if you're a big fan also for Star Fox, it's time to say do a barrel roll. And there are just 7 blimps. The good part of the blimps is that you can shoot to every part of the blimp, and you're gonna hit it. So, and also that enemies, every time they hit us, they're gonna make 1% of damage. But I don't need to be so careful with that. Well, obviously I need to be careful, but I'm referring that I don't need to be so worried about this, because that characters are easy to control here, so it shouldn't be a big problem. And now we have 5 blimps. And now, as you make that the last blimp goes out, you are now able to gain the crystal. Now it's time to say goodbye to Coco, so everybody say goodbye, Coco! Well, oh, what happened? Okay, I have lied, because this is the real last stage with Coco, and this boss stage is engine, and the way that you beat it's a bit easier. It's just to shoot into all this stuff he has, and once we defeat this first phase, we're gonna have a second phase, and we're gonna also defeat him. You just need to keep pressing the R1 button or circle button to shoot, which is something faster and good for this. Okay, now it's time that he's gonna turn into his second phase, and now we have our little friend Pura helping us. Okay, that was fine. And there we go. Fourth boss defeated. Now it's time to go to the last stages of the game and then also the last boss. Now I got a kind of bazooka that shoots Wumpa fruits, and now it's time to go maybe for the worst stage of all the run, which is map bombers. And again, we need to shoot to some airplanes, but now the hitbox of them is more reduced, so it's more hard to shoot. And now we're gonna play this as Crash. Something curious that I need to say is that on these specific stages on Insane Trilogy, um, you just play as the default character as in the original game. For example, in Bye Bye Blames, you just play as Coco. But for some reason, on this stage on Mad Bombers, you can also play this stage as Coco, but you cannot play as Crash and Bye Bye Blames. So now the NPC characters, the enemies are gonna be more hardest to defeat, and now every time they shoot to us, they're gonna cause some 4% of damage. So this stage is a big pace killer, so I need to keep a bit safely. And where's that balloon? Okay, that balloon. So I'm gonna keep trying to break these white balloons that will gain me more health. Because obviously, if my health goes down to 0, I'm gonna fail the stage, and I need to repeat it from scratch and beating all airplanes again. So I'm gonna keep quiet here. Again, staff, this is a good time to talk if you want. No, this is not good. Okay, never mind, I'm gonna start the stage again. But now you see what I'm referring about, how this can be a good pace killer. But again, it's just gonna take me like between 1 to 2 minutes. Well, like between 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. So staff, if staff wanna say something, this is a good time.
I don't have much to say right now other.
Okay, you have heard that about the staff, guys, so it's time to keep safe again and keep quiet. Trying to don't choke again. And there we go. Stage finished. And now it's time to go to the stage 25, which is the intended as a stage of the game. The name is a box light, and the reason why I'm gonna enter here is that, as I've said before, Bye Bye Blames retires you all your masks, and also the engine battle and map bombers. So the good part of this stage is that this is the only stage that has 4 masks. So it's better to start here before you go to the next stages. Obviously, if you play correctly and you can keep the masks, it shouldn't be a big problem for somebody, and that's a random body slam. You know. Now I need to be careful because now on this part it's just that I got some extended slides. You know, it's time to use the other three masks, gain invincibility, and go faster. Because as you saw, this was fully intended by by the developers, because there's a lot of enemies and all that stuff, and all the way, and also that black box that you're watching there, and they are also time-based. So after a certain amount of time, and they're gonna disappear. We don't want that it happens, so we need to move as fast as we can. Now it's time to move to the last future style stage of all the game. And now bless RNG and bless not drop inputs. Okay, never mind, I have lost the mask, unfortunately. At time, wrongly. And again, this stage just give me one mask. Just for marathon purposes, it's time to play a bit safely again. Okay, I don't know what happened there. I don't know why I received some damage if I haven't touched the enemy. Now it's time to use the Wumpa bazooka that we have unlocked. Okay, that was something retard. Again, anything important to say here, so if I keep quiet, don't worry, it's not a setup issue, it's just because I'm not talking, that's everything. Now I have reached the last part of the stage. Okay, that was close to be a good choking time. Well, that was a choke, but it doesn't matter. For if you die on the game, obviously you're gonna lose time. So, the best way to don't lose so much time if we get that kind of failure, just to respawning next to a. Well, if we die close to a checkpoint, because with that we're gonna respawn directly next to the checkpoint, and with that obviously we're not gonna lose so much time. Because for example, in that case, unfortunately I have died. It wasn't on purpose, and since I am a bit far away from checkpoint, when I'm a bit away, obviously I'm gonna lose more time. Talking about the distance and all that stuff, so. And now it's time to go to the last stage of the game, which is orange asphalt again, and motorcycle stage. Anything important to say? And after this, we're gonna go versus Cortex, which is the last stage of the game. And well, comparing this stage to Road Crash, which is stage 14, obviously this stage is the most longest, but at least there are not so many enemies and traps that are gonna make that we lose time and we can get first place at the end. That's something that doesn't happen on Road Crash because you need to be more precise on your movements because it's more easy to fail that stage and don't reach the first place at the end of the track, obviously. So again, it's just pressing the cross button and use the D-pad to tell Crash where he needs to move.
Is this a good time for a donation?
Sure, why not?
Alright, we have $5 from Anonymous who says, Go Nimer. Don't really know how to pronounce what he wrote, but I tried.
That's the most important part. Okay, now I have finished Orange Asphalt and it's time to go to the last boss fight. And also for the timing, onside, press the triangle button to skip the text box that appears onside. I catch the power up and I'm just gonna finish in that part. So how I beat Cortex, which is the last boss, well, just easy, and it doesn't matter if you enter to this stage with masks. As you can see, our mask Aqua is firing versus his evil twin brother Uka Uka. So now, while they're fighting, Cortex is gonna throw some lasers, and after that he's gonna throw some bombs, and his shield's gonna go down. So that's a good opportunity to hit him. He's gonna fall down, and we need to keep spinning and make that he goes at the middle of the stage. So now, also as you can see, the battle in between the brothers is different. In the first one, they were fighting with some kind of laser, and now they're kind of spinning. And obviously, we don't need to touch them on that pace because that's gonna be fatal, and we're gonna die. And also, you need to be more faster as you can, trying to throw Cortex, because if it takes you a good amount of time to make that Cortex fall down, Uka Uka is gonna take him and he's gonna respawn and get into his shield. So we don't want that it happens. And also, the way that Cortex throws the bombs is fully RNG. Okay, this is bad, but it doesn't matter. So be ready for the time, And time. Okay. Maybe as you can see on stream, the image is a bit delayed. And the reason of this is because my capture cards has some delay, but don't worry guys, you haven't get so spoiled. So with the timing of this game was 58:25. On screen I got 58:27. It's fine. Doesn't matter. I have to start also the timer early.
Yeah, that delay was a bit awkward.
Yeah, that's a good part. I mean, it's delayed, but at least it's not a huge delay, as we can say, but well, 58:25. It was a good time, so
Still an
it's
entertaining
not-
run.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's something good about Crash Bandicoot Warbone. Any person no item glitch. I mean, it's a good showcase on speedrunning. But now it's time to switch to Crash Team Racing, isn't it? Wait, so I'm gonna switch games.